Welcome back to the Talk with Maynard podcast, the podcast about motivation, awareness, disabilities, world problems, and cars.
This week, we're going to be talking about the importance of getting vaccinated.
Let's get straight to the discussion.
The coronavirus has been extremely dangerous. This virus is definitely nothing to take too lightly. Everyone wants the world to get back to normal, but so many people, now the vaccine is out, don't want to take it. How are we supposed to ever get things back to normal if we don't find a way to stop this illness?
In this podcast, we're going to talk about the importance of getting the coronavirus vaccine. We're also going to talk about vaccinations in the past in different diseases they have stopped. We're going to talk about the thought that getting a vaccine is against our common freedoms. Getting a vaccine can get rid of this world of sickness. Hopefully we can bring some light to getting a vaccination. So I wanted in this podcast to discuss some of the sicknesses that have been stopped by vaccines that the world may have forgotten, and we're going to talk about them because you don't realize how much vaccines help, and we don't even remember some of these diseases because of it. So I wanted to start out with talking about polio. That's some information I got, but this is what I found on polio. Polio is a crippling and deadly infectious disease that is caused by polio virus. The virus spreads from person to person and can invade an infected person's brain and spinal cord, causing paralysis. Polio was eliminated with a vaccine, and the continued use of the polio vaccine has kept the country polio-free. But polio is still a threat in some other countries, but luckily it's not here because of the vaccine. So polio was gotten rid of by a vaccine. I don't know if any of us know anything about polio or what it was like when people had it. But
not much. I remember the only thing I can tell you is one of my teachers back in high school, he had some health issues. I mean, he had some disability, the way he spoke, talked, and everything. And he had a couple of things that happened to him when he was really young. And one of them, he said, was he had polio, if I remember right. And that could have been one of the main causes of his struggles through life. And now he was extremely smart. He was a math teacher, taught algebra and trigonometry, and just extremely smart man with many degrees from different universities. But it did affect him his whole life. Mm-hmm. So I do remember him saying that polio was part of it.
So it's definitely good that we had a vaccine for it and that we've been taking it, and it's been around, the vaccine, and we don't have to worry about that no more. So yeah, definitely glad we don't have polio.
Yeah.
The next one we want to talk about is the flu. The flu, and I think it's important to talk about the flu because we've been having flu shot vaccines for years now.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some people that don't want to take it, but it hasn't really caused any problems. People just take it and don't get the flu.
Yeah.
So just a little information here. Everyone knows what it is, but I'll still read it. Flu is a respiratory illness caused by the influenza virus, and it affects the nose, throat, and lungs. It can affect people differently based on their immune system age and health. Like me, if I got the flu, there's a possibility I could get pneumonia from having it. Flu symptoms include coughing, fever, aches, fatigue, vomiting, and diarrhea. Every year they give out flu shots, and that's how we've been keeping it under control. The flu, back when it first started, was a lot like what we're experiencing with coronavirus because there wasn't a vaccine and it just was killing people.
And we get our flu shot every year. When you're diagnosed with DMD, mm-hmm. they stress the importance of us to get it every year to try to minimize you getting it, because mm-hmm.
it
for someone with a compromised immune system or weaker lungs, whatever. The flu can be deadly, just like coronavirus. It can be, and so we've taken it every year. And some people are like, well, I don't want to take it because it's going to give you the flu. Well, we've never gotten the flu from the flu shot. In fact, most of the time all we get is a little bit of a sore arm.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't had the flu. I hadn't had the flu since I was in high school. So
And Daddy can explain what the flu was like.
it was a full blown flu, and it just you had the fever and the chills, and you ached all over, and you didn't want to eat, and it was bad. The respiratory, the coughing, but mainly just the fever and just being achy all over. You just felt terrible for days. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, 4 days. I think I had it. So
yeah,
it was bad.
Definitely bad, and that's why we have vaccines for that too.
Yeah,
there's vaccines for all of these. I'm gonna be repeating that a lot. But the next ones I want to discuss is hepatitis B and A. I'll just kind of lump them together. But yeah, we'll talk about that one. I have some information on it. I don't know if Daddy has anything he can tell you about that, but I do have information on it. Hepatitis B, 780,000 people per year die of complications with it, and is spread through blood or other bodily fluids. It's especially dangerous for babies since the hepatitis B virus can spread from infected mother to child during birth. About 9 out of every 10 infants who contract it die. This is why there's vaccinations for it, and it's the reason why all women are tested for it, and babies should be vaccinated from it. So, yeah, that's information on that, and we get it's vaccinated. And then I also have hepatitis B on here. Hepatitis A was developed in 1995. A vaccine for it was developed in 1995 and has cut the cases dramatically in the United States. Hepatitis A is a contagious liver disease and is transmitted through person-to-person contact. Vaccination against hepatitis A is a good way and a baby step to stay free of it. So,
all I know about hepatitis was I did know one person that got it. I don't remember which strain, whether it was A, B, or whatever. But I know it was scary.
Mm-hmm. It took over everything, and I know I get infusions from a nurse every week, and she talks about back when that was around. She said how scared everyone was. She said the level of fear was similar to what we have with the coronavirus now. She said everyone was just so freaked out about it. So she talks about that. I don't think we need to discuss all these. It's kind of getting ridiculous.
The one we can talk about, though, that I do know about is chickenpox.
Mm-hmm.
And probably a lot of people in my age generation. I had chickenpox. My sister had chickenpox. The good thing about having chickenpox was that you only get it once. And once you've had it, you never get it again. Except that you get shingles.
Yeah, shingles you can get.
So later in life you can't get shingles. But chickenpox was one of those things you didn't want it. But when you got it, fever, you got all the little bumps and rashes, and you itched all over. Mm-hmm. And they told you not to scratch because it would make scars, and all you wanted to do was scratch, but your mom put calamine lotion or some kind of junk on you, and it was sick. You got sick. You got sick for days.
And
it was highly contagious.
And didn't Grandpa get shingles? Didn't he?
Grandpa
get it?
Weeks.
Yeah, you got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got shingles, but yeah, we got we have a vaccine for that, and it keeps you from getting it.
But it was a pretty common childhood disease when I was young, and your grandparents were young, and now y'all have had disease, and you don't hear about chickenpox anymore.
You almost forget about a lot of these.
Yeah.
You don't even realize they exist. A couple of them on here I'm not going to read about, but I bet you a lot of people forgot about whooping cough and mumps. Those are, you just never hear about them, but those are two sicknesses that were vaccinated, and it's been basically gone. You just don't hear about it.
You don't hear about
You
these
hear about
diseases.
whooping cough sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, we talk a little bit now about the fear of getting vaccinated and the fear of side effects.
So there are side effects with anything, and some vaccines, I mean, they can be dangerous, but the real danger is not getting it and spreading it around. Your odds of a serious side effect are really low. I mean, if you were worried about anything that was dangerous, you'd never drive in a car, and you would never eat anything that's fatty, and you wouldn't, there's a million things you wouldn't do because the potential side effects of the potential things going bad. So, yeah, there can be, but the just overall fear of the vaccination is just ridiculous. Cause
And I want to say we're not here to attack anyone who don't take vaccines. It's kind of hard to understand why there's people that don't take them. And I honestly think you're better off getting them. And some vaccines, like the coronavirus one, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I think is imperative. Even if you don't like getting vaccines, when it's something that's this bad, you just almost have to get it. But yeah, the vaccines can be dangerous. And I also have on here the betterment of the world. Vaccines that gets rid of these deadly diseases, and you never have to worry about them no more.
Yeah.
We don't have to live scared and stay at home and all that stuff. So,
and so the coronavirus vaccine, because that really is what's driving this discussion.
Yeah, we don't want to get too far into it though. It's in the second half. We're going to really discuss that.
Okay.
But so that's it right there.
Well, time for a break.
That's all. You're forgetting to read your part. That's all we have.
Yeah, well, hopefully you got some insight into vaccines from the past, and we'll talk a little bit more about, current things, and then we'll get into Guess That Car Sound after that.
Okay, so we'll be right back with Guess That Car Sound. Now it's time for Guess That Car Sound. Guess That Car Sound is where one of us picks a audio clip of the car, and the other person guesses it. This week, Daddy's picking the car, and I'm going to try to guess what it is.
So I'm going to give you a little help. This will be a car, because it could sound like a lot of things, and it's not like a particular car. Like last week's was Smokey and the Bandit, the 18-wheeler. It's not that specific. As far as being a particular car from a particular movie or something. But it's a car that I would probably think is cool.
And make sure you point towards Mike's thing here. Yeah. Don't get too close, though.
Yeah. Open it here and make sure we got some volume. Hold on, let me start it.
What is that?
Okay, so
I don't know. It sounds like an F1 car.
Okay,
Close.
Not F1 car.
Huh?
If it's not F1, what kind of engine do you think that would be?
Is it rotary?
No, not rotary.
Because I was so high revving, that's why I was...
No, not rotary. It's not rotary engine.
I'm trying to think what revs like that. That's crazy. A motorcycle, maybe?
It's not a motorcycle. No.
Oh my gosh.
It's a car.
It's a car.
It is a car. It's a car I would think is cool.
That's an insane sounding car.
Take one more time. What kind of engine you think it is?
Like V12?
V12. So it is a V12 car.
V12.
So what's it be? A V12 car I would think is like the coolest V12 car in the world.
Is it a Ferrari?
No. It's Italian.
Lamborghini. I don't know what sounds like crazy that they have, though, is the problem.
You're halfway there. It is a Lamborghini. Now, which Lamborghini is it?
Your favorite Lamborghini is a Countach. There's no way that's what it is. That's why I would have never got it. That's like aftermarket right there. I think it is at least.
It might be. I had a lot of different videos, and some of them sounded like that. That was a later, it's not an early Countach. It's
Maybe
a late
that's just
Countach.
the way they sound. I mean, I've never heard one revved out ever. I've never heard one rev, so I just didn't know.
But it is one of the later Lamborghini Countaches, a V12 supercar from all us kids that grew up in the 70s and 80s.
So that's it for Guess That Car Sound. We'll get right back into the discussion here. Okay, I wanted to start the next part of our discussion off. We're going to really talk about coronavirus here. And I want to start off by discussing what it's like to have coronavirus, because me and my dad both have had it. And you can talk about your experience, because yours wasn't so bad.
So yeah, I almost hate to talk about it a little bit, because so many people, I hear them say, well, if I get it, it's not going to be that bad. Well, I got it, and overall it wasn't that bad. I'll be honest with you. My biggest issue was that I had a really bad cough. I'm probably just thinking about it does that to me. But I'm sitting here with a pile of cough drops behind me. That's how I'm making it through these discussions at the moment, because sometimes I can't still put together 3 words, and that's been over 3 weeks ago that I had it.
So it lingers.
It lingers. I didn't, but again, I check my temperature constantly. I didn't get a fever.
That's so scary.
Now I did lose my smell, at least mostly, and I didn't even realize it until somebody asked me if I smelled something, and then I started checking, and it still kind of a little comes and goes a little bit, because there's things that I got it mostly, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still once in a while I feel like I just can't smell things like I should.
Mm-hmm.
But I did lose that. It did seem like, well, my stomach was upset more when I had it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd eat, and my appetite went away some. Eating, you just got to go to the bathroom right away. But it took Mucinex and didn't really have that much drainage. Thought it was actually the
He's
cedar
thinking about
fever.
it now.
Thought maybe it was a cedar fever. So my experience wasn't that bad, but weeks later, I still have the cough that won't go away. And right now it's not bad, but sometimes, Cody will tell you, I just cough and I wheeze, and
it sounds scary sometimes.
Yeah,
it really does.
I've never wheezed before in my life, and just doing physical things. I help Cody with a lot of things physically, moving and transitioning, and I get winded, and I didn't get winded, and maybe that'll get better. I'm sure it will over time, but even being past it, there's effects that are lingering on. So mine, again, I hate to give the experience, because so many people, it won't be that bad, and then mine wasn't. I was extremely lucky.
And so like you said, he didn't have no fever or anything, and that's what was scary about it. He didn't want to give it to me because of my underlying conditions, but he had his cough already happening, and he didn't think nothing of it. It was just a cough. He wasn't worried, no fever, no nothing. Well, I remember when I started getting it, we're actually out at Walmart and getting stuff, because my sister has moved out and is going to college and stuff, so we're getting a few things for her at Walmart. And I remember we're going down one of the aisles, and I told Daddy I started getting cold feeling, and I felt a little soreness in my throat, and so I remember mentioning it to him, and I mentioned it to several times because it seems like it got a little worse while we were out. but it wasn't terrible, so I thought it was fine. Well, the next day, I was not fine. I can't remember what was happening first.
Well, I think that in that particular day, you actually woke up with a fever.
Yeah.
But we had to get moved in, and so
Oh,
gave you
yeah.
some medicine and made you comfortable, and we went ahead and did what we had to do. But
Yeah, I woke up with a pretty intense fever that day. It
Yeah.
wasn't super high, but it was enough to make me feel terrible. And we went up there to do that, and I didn't feel very good the whole day. And so we still didn't think too much of it, but we're worried about Daddy with the coughing and stuff. So he actually got tested, and that night,
took 3 days to get tested.
Yeah.
Over 3 days.
and that night he got the thing with coronavirus, saying he came up positive, and we instantly knew that's what I had then. So
And you did test positive a few days later. We actually did get you tested. We were always really scared with Cody's condition that if he got it, that'd be it, because that's who it attacks. And you did have it bad. Now, luckily, Cody didn't wind up in the hospital. Although we nearly took him to the emergency room one night.
I had some of the thickest congestion I can ever remember having, and it just went on and on and on. And then through coughing and stuff, I have supports on the chair that helped me sit straight, and I was coughing so much that I ended up bruising internally my sides, and it hurt so bad that we were scared of several things, even heart problems and stuff, and almost went to the emergency room that night.
You had 3 or 4 days at least that you pretty much just slept all day
Yeah,
long.
I didn't want to do anything.
Got up, had something to eat, kind of tried to just sit and watch TV, and just went to sleep. I mean, that's all you could really do. You were extremely tired, extremely fatigued. Now, as soon as we suspected Cody had it, we contacted his doctors and said, "Hey, what do we do?" And they told us Mucinex, heavy doses, stay on it. Told us Cody uses a couple of different breathing machines. One he sleeps with, a BiPAP machine, and then another machine helps him cough, and to do that more often. So we took and did everything the doctor said, and I think because of that, and I think because of maybe some of the steroids you're on already, maybe that's how it wasn't worse than what it was, but it was bad.
And we also had that kidney infection thing.
Yeah,
and I was on antibiotics for that, and that may have helped too.
But beyond our personal experience, mine not so bad. Cody's worse. I have a family member that's in the hospital right now that I would think is probably fairly strong. Not a close family member, but you're still a family member. And he's been in the hospital for several days, not on a ventilator, but getting oxygen. Don't know if he's getting out tomorrow or not. But just following along on Facebook, he's a strong person, and it hit him hard. And we have a friend here in town, a guy that probably has some conditions because he was bigger, but really surprised that he passed away because he was a younger gentleman, probably in his 30s, and again super friendly, just not a close friend of ours, but still someone you could talk to anytime. And honestly, he'd probably do about anything for you if you asked him to, even though you weren't close friends. And he recently, within the last 2 or 3 weeks, passed away from it. So, yeah, it's all over the map, but it will get you. So,
and that's why we need to get back to the world by living and doing it right, is what I have here. What I mean by that is we need to make sure we're getting vaccinated for this thing so we can really get rid of it. Not pretend it's gone, but actually get rid of it so we can start enjoying life again, getting out and doing things, seeing family members and stuff. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are just doing that anyway, but if you keep doing that, it's going to be rough for all of us who are trying to do what we're supposed to do. And we just got to get rid of this. Everyone has to get their vaccines. Pretending it's gone isn't going to make it go away, and so many more people are going to die if we keep doing this. Even if you don't think you'll get it, and and don't care about yourself and want to get out, think about others, especially people like me or anyone else with a pre-existing condition, because it's bad.
Some people, just to mention it because I thought it was so funny, here where we live in Cameron in Milam County, Texas, I really feel like our county has really jumped out in front of this thing and trying to do everything they can. Our county judge, ever since March of last year, he's been on the radio at least once a week, if not more than that, talking about the latest news and what they're doing. And now they've run several vaccination clinics here in the county. He's been very proactive to get as much vaccine as the state of Texas will allocate to Milam County, and then get it out there quickly. But I was listening to him on the radio one day, and he was talking about the importance of getting vaccinated. And one thing I've seen people talk about online is how somehow they're trying to insert something to track you. It was like the judge said, people, if you have one of these things here, a cellular phone, they're tracking you.
All the time.
If they want to. Nobody goes anywhere without their phone anymore. Yeah, there's, if you don't want to be tracked, turn your phone off or don't have one. Mm-hmm. They're not going to stick something in your arm to whatever that would do. I don't know.
And like I said, we're not here to make anyone feel bad or
we're
anything, but I do want to say one thing, and this is going directly to people who live in Cameron and in our county. The judge has been doing everything to get it under control, and most of us citizens in this county are not doing what we're supposed to do.
Yeah,
how is he ever going to help if we won't do what you're supposed to?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Cody has had his first vaccine. Mm-hmm. You had no side effects from it.
No
Your
side
arm was
effects.
Sore, right?
I think I can't remember. Something was weird that morning, but it didn't last but a second.
But Cody's had his first vaccine. In about 2 weeks, he should get his second shot. Mm-hmm. His grandparents, my parents, had their second shot already. His other grandparents have had their first shot. But just 2 or 3 days ago, my mom and dad, Cody's grandparents, had their second shot. They were a little tired the next day. I think Cody's grandma had a headache, and they both had chills, some fatigue. It lasted a day, and it's done with. Mm-hmm. So it takes about 2 weeks for the vaccine to be fully effective. So another couple of weeks, they should be pretty well protected. And not that they're going to be less careful, but we'll be less worried.
And so I think that's it for that.
I think so. Just please, get vaccinated and help the whole world get this thing under control.
And that's all we have for the importance of vaccination discussions. We'll be back with the closing.
All right, so folks, that is all we have for this time. Be sure to follow Project Maynard Sting on
Facebook at Project Maynard Sting, on Instagram at Project Maynard Sting, on YouTube by searching Project Maynard Sting, and on Twitter at Project Maynard1. And also be sure to check out the Project Maynard Sting website at www.projectmaynarsting.com. So check that out too. Thank you for watching.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.